Well, welcome back. We're going to pick up where we left off and start talking about phases in the security software development life cycle. That's what that SDLC stands for. And really, this applies not only to security, they use slightly different words, but within computer science we have what's called the Waterfall Model, and it looks amazingly like this as well. So, the idea behind this is that you go through each of these steps, starting with investigation and moving down towards maintenance, in the development of any solution to a particular problem. And the first phase is always the most important phase, and that would be investigation. What requirements are you trying to address? And so investigation is kind of figuring out what needs to be done. What problem are you trying to solve? Are you building a house, building a car, building a spaceship? They're all different. And so you figure that out during the investigation phase and what really the needs of the customer are within that space. Within security, of course, during that investigation, you're going to go back and use policy, education, technology. You're going to look at data as it's being processed, stored, and transmitted. And you're going to look at the confidentiality, availability, and integrity of that data, and use that as your framework for doing that investigation. Once you've got that kind of requirement, then what you want to do is do your analysis on it. Okay, well, what are the different ways that I could solve this problem? How would I go about solving this problem? And evaluate these different kind of options, and then go into your logical design after you've picked one solution or your boss has picked a solution that you're going to pursue. What's the logical design? Then you've got to do a physical design of that particular problem, and then you've got to actually implement it. And what may surprise you is that implementation typically is only about 15% of the life cycle of a particular project. It's actually very short. The hard part, it gets really, really long in the implementation if you're solving the wrong problem, or you didn't spend enough time to do the analysis and the design correctly. So what you want to do is spend, pretty much more or close to half of your time actually on that front component of the investigation, the analysis, and the design. All right, you go and implement it. Remember I said about 15%, not too bad. Then you get into maintenance. Now maintenance is actually the most expensive phase because it goes on for years. There are lots of graphics associated with this where those top 5 phases are the tip of the iceberg. And the part of the iceberg, the mass of the iceberg, which is all underwater, that's maintenance. And so that's going to be your most expensive phase. And lots of people forget it. They assume that you have a people tree and a money tree and that it will just run forever. And that's not the case. That's the maintenance phase. All right. Well, we've talked about the phases in the security software development life cycle. Well, you know what? It's time for a group exercise. So let's look at this group exercise. What I want you to do is form groups, and if you're home alone, you can be a group of 1. If not, draft in your partner, your children, your cat, your dog. Get them involved. And what you're going to do is a scavenger hunt for as many possible instances of attacks based on the categories that we talked about earlier on. And what I'm talking about, where it's referring here to slide 3, is those notorious attacks associated with those 18 notorious attacks. Here, let me bring them up again for you so that I can refresh your memory. But look for these 18 attacks. See how many instances of those types of attacks you can come across. Do it for 5, 10, 15 minutes, and then look at the results. See what are the most popular attacks, which ones are not the most popular attacks. Get your neighborhood involved, have a contest, and whoever gathers the most out there, you know what we're going to do? You can take a all-expense paid Google search to Fiji. So afterwards, you get the privilege of searching on Fiji and feasting on those pictures. But do look at this. Look at the different types of attacks. Have some sense of their frequency, because this is an important idea And hopefully this short video, which has talked about the phases of the software development lifecycle for security, have been meaningful for you in terms of breaking the problem down and going through those different components that are associated with investigation, analysis, logical design, physical design, implementation, and then maintenance. Thanks so much for watching, and see you soon.